remortgaging is possible, right? However, I need you to be really cautious in terms of how you're actually going about doing it.
Because now you've got the stress of, I've got a half house built. What am I going to do with it? You can't get tenants in. When you're trying to sell, people that are coming in, they want to buy it low. So I'd really urge you that, look at it this way, guys. I'll ask this question again. If you want to save every time, ask yourself, at the cost of what are you saving?
So now when you're looking at property development, right, we had notes in terms of what we wanted to really discuss. The first thing that I actually noted down is knowing your budget. Now, a lot of people see property and they say that I want to buy this property, I'm buying this piece of land and I'm going to just build on this property, or I'm going to demolish the whole property and then build on the property. Something that I really want to emphasize right now, if you're trying to actually build a property, is that get a project manager that will write down the numbers to the T in terms of how much will it cost you to build that property. We're getting countless number of emails of people sending us that, guys, I'm halfway building my property and I don't have any money left. Could you please just help me finish off the property? Now, the problem with that is that you're going to be waiting on investors to actually fund you for that particular property. What you want to do is that I want to understand that if I'm going to go into this property, if I'm going to be purchasing this property, do I have enough money to provide for that property? So say for instance, if I get my project manager to build or to tell me how much is it going to cost, and he says 500,000. Now on Excel, this is what we always speak about with Neo. On Excel, it looks nice that I just need 500,000. It's not that bad. However, when you have to take out that 500,000, that's when things get going. So firstly, you need to check your savings account, that how much do you have on your savings account. Number two, if you're going to be doing specifically for property investing, we need to understand that what is the loan amount that you're going to have to take out. So I remember we had another property investor that had went to the property. They said that they're going to build land. It costed them 400,000. They're going to be building a building, building a land. They're going to be building something, and it's going to cost them 400,000. Now, with that particular 400,000, they had already anticipated the 400,000, so they went to the bank and got a loan from the bank of that 400,000. In that way, that person was already strategic in terms of where do they actually get their financing. So now, if you're going to be saying that I'm going to be building, make sure that you do get a detailed breakdown in terms of how much will you be spending on that particular property.
You know what you're talking about is very important. That you go around and you see half-built buildings, and it's quite sad because when you're looking at the fundamentals of when it comes to building development, you need to make sure that you really have a clear picture. You know, it's just that this thing is really close to home because I know of a family member who's in the situation. Hence it's even hard to articulate the right words. I've seen this so many times whereby somebody started something and they only went halfway. I mean, the slab alone was 80,000. We're not talking about the finishing touches. We're not talking about the roof. So they wanted to do a double story. So when they got to the slab part, they understood that it's 80,000.
Just for labor, they paid 200,000 for the building. We haven't looked at aesthetics of that property.
So ultimately what we're saying is that get a project manager. And who do you write in a sense whereby they'll give you the right code. Because then if you do cut corners and get somebody who you won't be paying so much, yes, you saved, let's just say that I saved 500. The same question that I asked last time, or even let's just say that I saved 1,000. I didn't go to a professional project manager. Yes, I didn't pay 1,000 to that guy. But now the real question is at the cost of what? It's really sad to see buildings that are half built because we didn't anticipate how much are we really going to pay for this building. So I really urge anybody who's about to develop, or even, you know what's even the sad part that I've seen? Somebody who got a retirement fund and then they wanted to build something of a mansion or something that's out of this world until they really understood the practicality of it. It's sad, guys. It's sad, and I don't want to see anybody in that situation, because now when you are pitching to investors, an investor is looking at the financial side of that property. They're not looking at how much you invested. They're not interested in how emotionally attached are you to the property. So I'd really say that let's understand what we're putting ourselves in, because this thing of holding on to properties and investment, you'll never go wrong in property. you won't go wrong. It'll literally put you down, because now you've got the stress of, I've got a half house built. What am I going to do with it? You can't get tenants in. When you're trying to sell, people that are coming in, they want to buy it low. So I'd really urge you that, look at it this way, guys. I'll ask this question again. If you want to save every time, ask yourself, at the cost of what are you saving?
So now, when you're speaking about remortgaging, right, there's something that's called remortgaging or refinancing, right? So now we had a question that, is it possible for us to refinance or remortgage? So now, remortgaging is possible, right? However, I need you to be really cautious in terms of how you're actually going about doing it. So now we have a lot of people that are speaking about remortgaging or refinancing online. And now I need you to understand this. If I'm going to be remortgaging or refinancing, the reason why I'm actually purchasing a property is that I want to purchase a property that will give me cash flow on a monthly basis. Now, if I'm going to refinance, this means that I'm going to go back to the bank, ask for a loan again on the property, and then get that particular money. So now, say for instance, if the bank is saying that, okay, your property value or how much you can actually get is 200,000. Now, if I'm going to be withdrawing that 200,000 and getting it on my side, yes, the 200,000 is on my side. However, my loan amount is going to go up. If my loan amount goes up, will that property still be able to actually maintain the costs of that particular property? Now, what a lot of people do is that they refinance, get the 200,000, and now their property is running at a shortfall of 1,000 because of that particular refinance. Now, you don't want to be in that situation. What you always want to do is to calculate how much do you actually have in terms of refinancing, and then also understand that if I do refinance, will the property still be able to actually get me that cash flow? Because once the cash flow of that particular property, if you're looking at that property, once that cash flow is out, now you have a problem when you're moving on to the next property, because this property needs to now supplement this property on its expenses. So what you want to always do is that each property, as you build your property portfolio, each property needs to have enough cash flow for it to be able to sustain itself.
So there's another question that I like, because it's also linked to the topic at hand in terms of development, right? Should I build a house or not? Or I'm getting pressure that I should be building a house or not. So yeah, I love this one. I love this question. Here's the thing, right? I know when it comes to land, everybody has this perception that land is cheap. Yes. If you're looking at it, if you're looking at buying a house versus a house of 1.6 million, right? You're looking at a house of 1.6 million. It's already built. Everything is cool. Versus buying land from let's say 300,000 or even 5.
No, but in this market of 1.6 million, you'd probably get it around 700,000, 800,000.
700. It's still fine.
Yeah.
It's still cool. 700,000. Now, if you're looking at this from an investment perspective, I want you to be, because I know when it comes to investment versus personal, it's two different things. I don't want you 10 years from now when I'm buying land there by the moon, and then you'll be like, you said that you'll never buy land. So here's the thing, when I'm looking at it as an investor, the key thing when we're speaking about property investing, the very key thing is that if anybody will be telling me this, because even our uncle, I remember we had a conversation, and it was quite short, man. Didn't last long. I still think that he thinks that we're cheeky. Hope that he's not watching this TikTok, man. So the question with our uncle was like, gents, I see that you bought a property. So it was on a stand. The stand was like 1,2 meters squared. And then he's like, there's a house. What I'm suggesting, gents, is that build back rooms there, proper back rooms. One question that I asked him is, what is the return on investment on that? It's business. Mm-hmm. It's business. If I'm saying I'm in a business transaction, I'll be saying I'm giving out this loan, or I'm putting in this money, I'll be getting this money out, and the return on investment is X amount. Hence, I'm taking that route. So now if somebody's telling you that do this, and they can't tell you the return on investment on it, especially if it's a business, then it's questionable in terms of how good of a deal is that. Because now if you be going into if you be just building because somebody said that you'll be getting money, only to find out that once you're done building, the loan that you took does not even, or the money that you're getting is not covering the loan that you took, then you ask yourself, or you question yourself, was this really a good deal or not? So this is how we like putting it when we're having our workshop, or when we're having our engagements. When it comes to property investing, more is not always more. What do I mean when I'm saying that? I know if I can, let's say I'm purchasing about 40 units, and then I posted it on the socials. People will be like, yo, he's got money. But now, really question that. If I bought 40 units, what are my expenses to hold that 40 units? Did I pay for it via bond, only to find out that yes, I'm getting 60,000, but then my expenses are 70,000? Then if I was to put that information before you and say that will you go into this deal or not, it will be questionable. So now that's the problem with a lot of property investors, by not understanding these different types of strategies when it comes to property investing. Because now I'm rather looking at, do I want to rent or do I want to develop? So even if I want to develop, what are the risks associated with developing property? What are the risks associated with flipping a property?
So now the thing that I also wanted to give you, right, is that if you are going to be developing a property, you need to understand what the market is looking for, right? Now, if you're saying that I'm understanding the market and what the market is looking for, I know sometimes we want to be fantastic, right? We want to bring something that has never happened in the market.
Yeah.
So you'll find somebody doing a whole lot of stuff in that particular
I see where
market.
you're going with that one, man. This is a bad thing, man.
It's bad.
This is a bad one. Man.
So whenever you're looking at a property, you need to understand that in that property there's a market, and there's a particular market, and the reason why they like that area is because it offers a certain lifestyle, or it offers certain something, right? Now, if you're looking at townships, right, I'll give you an example of a township in Johannesburg South, Orange Farm, right? When you're looking at Orange Farm, the property around there, people are willing to actually pay 800 on a monthly basis. Now, the problem is that if you're going to be saying that I want to bring in this cool thing in this particular market, however, nobody's willing to pay you on a monthly basis, then your development has already officially flopped, right? So now that's something that I really want you to consider whenever you're developing a property, even for the guys that are flipping properties or buying the property to actually rent it out. Whenever you're going to be flipping the property, you need to understand that, who am I actually catering for? Now, if you go onto Property 24 or private property and look at what kind of houses are in that particular area, you can already tell that how or what are my finishing touches to this property. Now, if you see that most of these guys have these black, you know those black
Taps.
Yeah, those black taps.
Yeah.
My wish is to have a house that has a black tap. So now, when you're looking at those particular black tap, that black tap, you already know that this is not your normal market whereby you're just going to be putting in the cheapest tap, right?
Yeah.
You need to understand that I need to put in the high-end taps in my property. So already that will be considered when you're running your numbers. Now, the problem is that people purchase properties and they don't really understand the market. Now, they only understand the market when they're inside the market, and now at a later stage when they're selling the property. Now, when you're selling your property and you're seeing that people they don't really want to go or purchase that property. And now you ask yourself that, why aren't people trying to purchase my property? It's because you put in the low end taps in the property, or the bathroom doesn't have a shower. Like in some areas, bathrooms are essential for you to actually have a shower. So now those are the things that we really need to understand, especially going into property investing and also looking at the market. What does the market want? And C says that we call understanding your target market. That's what it's called.
I like what you said, Leo, because it reminds me of the meeting that we had with the other lady. She was more of, guys, I want to charge, this is what I've done, and I want to charge 1.3. When we start 1.3 thousand. When we studied the market, yes, when you're looking at her property, it's really good. But then as a property investor, here's where the risk element comes through. We're not saying that nobody will rent out your apartment or nobody will rent out your bachelor for 1.3. We are saying that I wouldn't want to be the first test. To be honest, I wouldn't want to test with my money like that. Imagine putting in 500,000 in a deal and then you're like, okay, now I'm testing it out. I want to see if I'll get the desired results. Because now what happened is that they're on the market for 4 months. You're not understanding that why aren't you getting tenants? And then now it's there must be some funny stuff or black magic. It's not black magic. It's understanding your market. It's understanding your market. So hence, even when you're looking at your property developers, right, is that it's just that they know what they're doing. Whereas with us, it's more of I either have the credit or I just got the retirement fund and then I'm going to jump into property investing and saying that I'm a developer only to understand what it really means on the ground. So I'd really urge everyone that before you do any development, understand your market, and the only person who will help you is my brother over here.
So we have a question that when is your next workshop? I'm really excited about this